Allegiance led by Holly.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Beautiful day out there. Let's try to get out of here before sunset.
Good
Be that
one,
Now you know how.
by 7, you said?
Now you know how great
You're picking up.
ideas and things get settled. What is do we have any visitors? I'm calling for a recognition of visitors. We have 3 people up there. Does anybody know who they are, or do we have to? Get them to tell us who they are.
So this is Harrison, Heather, and Mutt. And you'll find out why they're here in just a second.
Okay. So we have 3 visitors. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
None tonight, sir.
Hearing none, we'll move on. I will vote to accept the agenda.
We have awards first.
Sorry.
We have awards first. Awards. So I'm gonna bring up my communications team. And we just want to share with the board the great work that our teams are doing. So great that they were named best in the state. Well, that the Osprey, you're gonna have to say what all the letters are.
Oregon School Public Relations Association is what
Yeah.
OSPRA or OSPRA stands for.
So there are 12 awards total. And these 2 fabulous people were awarded 2 of them. So the one that they were holding, or they were awarded, they got the Award of Excellence for Strategic Communications Campaign for our Professional Learning Day video that they did. And then the trophy that they're holding is for, they were named Oregon's Best for Branding and Visual Identity Campaign, which was the South Central Early Learning website that we all went through, that we updated last year. So congratulations to Harrison. He's our director or coordinator of communications, and Heather, who is our specialist. They do great work every day, and it's just nice to have a token that people beyond us see that. I also want to say that Roseburg School District won an award as well, and they're a duo team, but one of the people on the duo team is also an ESD employee. So that means 25% of the awards went to this region, but folks who are involved in our teams. Congratulations. And then the third word of the night is Les. I'm gonna have you come up and we'll get to speak. We'll get trophies. We'll get pictures. I have it going the right way.
I got it.
It's hard when they're seen through.
Yeah.
So Les and Beth, who's not here tonight, operate our peer-to-peer program, which is a program that pairs students with special needs and a peer, and they go out and work. And so we have wonderful, wonderful businesses over the summer who welcome them in and teach them the trade. This team has written many articles on it that we can get you more information. But that was ESD won the peer-to-peer exceptional program award and with the Oregon Statewide Transition Conference. So congratulations to that team. And we're like the only ESD, or this is the only place where this program exists in the state.
Yeah.
Wow. So not only did we design it and build it, now it's award winning, which recognizes the work that we see. Someone else sees it as well. So thank you, Les.
Are you planning on branching out to other high schools? I would love to.
That's in the notes.
Yeah.
This is soon to come. Yeah.
Got my 2 high schools. There you go. Yeah.
Tom, a picture with Harry.
Sure, yeah.
Can someone be the photographer, and then we'll just want to.
Everybody's.
I think the wrong.
Oh, Veronica's coming.
Jump in, maybe.
Oh, I'm going to.
Or chair.
Here.
You're part of it. Part of it. Make it, make it. Thank you.
Sorry.
Oh, you're already done?
Okay.
Sorry. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, they're very cool things. And you're. Pretty bad.
Hey, my God, thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Let me show you stuff.
So these will be in our lobby.
These will be in our lobby, for all the world to see along with, the other trophies we've won over the years, so.
You can throw these.
First year.
Do we have any correspondence?
So we just had somebody join and I just want to get confirmation. Who just joined with us?
Should be Tom.
Well, I thought I heard Tom's voice a minute ago.
Tom or Gail, are you there?
Come on, Tom, speak up. He's bashful.
About the same guy?
There we go. Can you hear me?
Okay. Presentations to the board, item number 5.
None tonight, sir.
Consent agenda, would anyone like to make a motion?
I'm listening.
We
And
have a motion,
you want me to finish? I motion we accept the agenda.
I second.
he beat you. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All opposed,
Oh, my God.
passes unanimously. Page 2, superintendent's report. Item number 7.
Yes, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you all. I'm just going to add a few things to our report. My second paragraph is the Rural Health Transformation Grant Program. So this is funding that's coming from HR1. I think there's $50 billion for all 50 states. Oregon's the recipient of first year about 197 million. With the potential of getting $1 billion. And it's focused on rural areas, which is defined as less than 40,000. So below Douglas County, as far as each of our individual communities. And so this week I've spent significant time with partners trying to figure out what we can do collaboratively. You can have one proposal that includes 3 projects. And it has to be a minimum of 200,000 and a max, and you can go up to 500,000. Which means that if you submit 3 proposals, it's about $1.5 million that you can have access to. The outcomes and targets are very specific. Some of them are, technology and the technology that our clinics need to, keep our data safe and to do all of the things that they need to do. So some are very specific to hospital clinic settings and rural communities. And then there are some spaces for community partners. And we are at, there's one target that we believe links to our community uplift program and expanding that into K-12. There's one target, the language is not as tight in the application. So we believe there's a target around behavioral health where we could, the QMHP, QMHA model, we could get some funding to get that rolling in our school districts and with our providers. There's a target around high school career pathways as well. And then the one that our community has high interest in is the first 1,000 days. So we know that our little human brains form the most connections between ages 0 and 3. And so the first 1,000 days program is looking at the needs of the community and saying, what supports do families need for kids to live in stable and attached homes, however that is defined. And so we've got one of the ideas is how do we expand home visiting? So I'm excited to announce we have a new home visiting program that's universal, that provides 3 nursing visits at home after an infant is born. And we're really trying to think of peer-to-peer models. There's a lot of wisdom in this room, in this county, of folks who can lend an ear and support to new families. So over the next month, we will be narrowing down at least the right projects so they hit the right targets and get our application together. And then also I've been meeting with other community partners who are planning to write theirs, and we're all trying to show through our applications that we are together on this. This is a vision for the region, and Douglas County rocks. So the following 2 things are things that we've been working on: community uplift and the QMHP model. That part of the slower rollout was searching for funding. So we hope this comes through. They're looking for ready to go projects because your first report is due in September 2026, and you likely won't be awarded till sometime between June and July. And so we know of like programs that are ready to go that just need something extra. And then if you're awarded in this first round, you have until 2027. So you have about 15 months to work on that project. And then there'll be another round of grants in the fall. So if we're not, if we don't feel like we have a ready to go project, we'll hold until September. Because my belief is that this funding should go to rural Oregon and to support kids. And if we're not ready to go, we'll wait until it's our turn to get an application. And so that money can be used on projects that are ready to go. So, and there is also regional planning. So it's a federal grant, but the state is in the middle of the monies go from the feds to the state to the grant recipients. I've read they included the contract with it, and I didn't see anything that jumped out. It's a reimbursement grant. Not that we would spend $1.5 million by September, but an organization has to be able to carry the upfront costs till you get reimbursed, which Venice does every day. So I feel like Venice and I have talked, and we'd be okay to carry that balance for about 15. We'll get reimbursed throughout that 15 months, but that we can carry that until we're reimbursed like we do with many of our grants. So that's all I have tonight. Oh, and I would also like to recognize Amy Rhodes, our Association of Education Service areas. It's our national organization, has an executive in residence program. Several ESD here folks have been graduates of that program, myself included. And it's a program that connects ESD directors across the country, and feels like what Amy does, and gets them together, and she gets a national perspective on ESDs. And at some point in the year, she'll go tour another ESD and see what they've learned. And so congratulations to Amy for being selected into that. And she will bring, I know when I did it, I went, wow, it's pretty lucky some in the ways that we're funded as far as ESDs. And it gives you a different perspective on what we're doing here. So she'll bring us back the wisdom that she acquires. Yes.
Okay. Qualified mental health professional, the QMHP. I understand that's predominantly mental health, but are they initially tied right into a QM, HP for physical health also?
No, it's a mental health role.
Right?
So QMHP is a practitioner qualified mental health professional. So think of them like a licensed counselor.
Right.
So that's who makes the plans. And then a QMHA is the associate. And so they're either on a pathway to a P or they can stay as an associate and function within that role. They're the boots on the ground. So if the QMHP says they need skills training, QMHA is who implements that with the kids or whatever setting they're in.
Where I was heading with that is there's a lot of kids out there that don't just need mental. They're either I don't want to say the affliction, but affliction also relates a lot of times to physical. Are we taking care of both sides of that, both the mental and the physical, and are they touching bases is what I'm trying to get at.
We have school nurses in every district. And their job isn't to treat anything. So these folks will not work for schools. They're just providing care in schools. But we have a referral system out. So if Holly gets referred to the nurse, they learn who her primary care physician is and then get things connected.
We have a lot of kids out there that a nurse level education just doesn't reach. SMA, spinal muscular atrophy. There's not a nurse in this county who has the education to reach what an SMA child needs. The Alzheimer's, some nurses have had some special training in that, but so these children need more than just mental. They also need the physical to back up the mental, like the speech therapy for an SMA child, to be able to get the muscles so they can talk.
Are you talking about in terms of the school delivering supports around education?
No, I'm talking about the ESD.
Because we don't provide physical, we don't provide that kind of care. Even with behavioral health, it's within the scope of whatever licensure they have. We work and partner with the appropriate roles, the clinics, and for a referral system to get the family to the right spots. So if a child has significant special needs, then that's part of their IEP or 504 plan. And those who at the school who would be providing care they're trained and all of that sort of stuff to meet the needs of those kids while they're at school, whatever needs those on.
There are a couple of classrooms, and I think everybody else could speak more eloquently than me. But for example, Fir Grove has a complex medical needs classroom, where, and I largely know about it because my children attended Fir Grove, so that's why I'm using that as an example. And then they had medical supports present in the classroom. And especially trained individuals, like both aides, but like they had medical, like hands-on medical supports. And then they also did integration. So for example, with the entirety of my kids' childhood, every assembly they ever went to was signed because they integrated all of the kids, and so many of the kids had language specialty needs. So it was both signed and brailled. So, and I know but that's my personal experience, but I know that those classrooms, there are multiple classrooms like that throughout the districts. I don't think I can rattle off where they have. Oh, so there's one.
Been there 100 times.
Yeah, but I think there is some stuff in South County as well, but I could be wrong.
I don't think for the medically complex kids.
I think they're DLC, yes, but not to the medical level of the CNC.
Right. I don't know if that, and it sounds like you totally know. I just wanted, that was just my experience as a parent.
As a peer-to-peer program, yay. I'd love to see that branch out to other high schools because that is I have seen these kids who are dropping out of school, stay in school, graduate because of that peer-to-peer program. It's a winner in my book. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard.
Any other questions, comments? Moving on. Are you ready, Amy?
I am ready. Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me tonight. Just a few things I want to highlight out of my report. It's broken into two sections, kind of like our department is, our K-12 student and family supports. Daniela, who is our youth development coordinator, the other administrator on our team, she's been out in the districts doing some impact surveying, but in person, finding out what are we doing well, what do we need to fix, what are we offering that they don't need. So she's already been to, I think, at least 6 of our districts, getting some really good information. You'll be pleased to know that we are working on expanding peer-to-peer next year. We'd like to expand it into 2 more districts, a small district and another medium district. So right now, as you said, Sutherland, South Umpqua. So we have a lot of interest, and we have been looking for additional funding from community supports to help with it. We're also looking into the possibility of somehow maybe monetizing the model, that we could sell it, license it to other ESDs, contract out, so that we could then use those funds, because we are the only one, and then use those funds to help support kids in our community. So we're looking at a lot of options there. So that is on our list. In that group, they're also working on de-siloing. So I mentioned here our re-engagement mentors. We do have a new lead, a new person in the lead position. They're working on doing some more training this summer so that they all have a very cohesive approach to the work they're doing. And our student success team is now working along side by side with them. So they've kind of divided up all the districts so that there's continuity of support. There's one person or 2, sometimes in the bigger districts, that meet the kid every time. So it's not a different person. It's because those kids, especially those that have kind of, like you said, those disengaged ones that are like ready to drop out, if the same person is coming every Thursday, we're seeing some great improvement there. So that's some good news there. We already kind of covered peer-to-peer. I do want to highlight our youth mentor program. We do have a contracted pilot program in Elkton. When we started this program, the re-engagement mentors were just for the high school. Then we moved into the middle school. And that was so successful. Elkton asked if they could pay us extra to have a K-5 person. And they have shared with us that there's some real improvement in their attendance data, and they would like to contract with us again. So that's one of the things that Daniela is kind of sharing as she's going out to districts. Hey, we're seeing some real success with our team here. We'd love to get you involved in this program as well. So that's happening there. On our district support side, a couple of things I just want to point out here. And one thing I forgot to include. We have 2 teams that are presenting at OAESD this year that got selected. One is our 2 of our instructional coaches will be presenting their instructional assistant boot camp and how that works, and giving those resources to other ESDs. Instructional assistants are some of the most important people in the building. They are those boots on the ground people, but they don't often get a lot of opportunity for training. And so they've done a really excellent job kind of creating this program. It's been very successful. And then our other team, Beth and Lacey and I, were invited to be on the REN. It's like a panel presentation. So again, if you're coming, please feel free to look us up and go to these presentations. We're kind of being interviewed about the work that our REN is doing and sharing what we're doing in our districts. And that's a real honor, because there are 18 RENs, and there are 3 of us that were chosen. So that says a lot about Beth and Lacey and the work they've been doing. And then finally, Beth Yarborough, who you all saw present in January. with Lacey. She was chosen to be part of the next Learning Forward Academy. It's a specialized academy for instructional coaches. And so she is going to be learning with other instructional coaches all over the nation and really honing her practice. She is our lead coach. So I'm really excited that she's going to be bringing back that knowledge to us. So that's what I have. I'm happy to answer any questions.
YMCA, I was kind of curious, maybe you can answer this. Fairview YMCA is the only YMCA that the ESD is currently working with on children, young children. We have all their YMCA's here in Douglas County. Is there, they haven't asked or we haven't expanded into the YMCA for the kids there? They have preschool and special needs kids and everything who also go to the Y.
Yeah, and we've had, we have a partnership with the YMCA. They're a huge partner for our partner sports camp, and that they offer their facilities. We also, if there are students in their preschool that have IFSPs, EICSE, then our staff would be serving them there. So we work both at like partner sports camps, just like a partnership and facilities and staff, but then we're also, where appropriate, in a preschool, we would be providing services in there. We've done some behavioral health stuff in the past there as well with the expertise that we have. With the Y
Classroom, they go to the YMCA.
Yeah, the CNC clinical.
Yeah.
And our autism classrooms. The YMCA gives us space in their pools, and it's like the kids' favorite day because they can.
I couldn't,
Yeah.
I just couldn't find where the connections were at. It was just Fairfield was the only one that was listed as connection. So I thought, wow, we're missing the ball here in that one. Okay.
Our peer-to-peer kids are also going to be working at the YMCA this summer too. There's a group of them that work there every summer.
Swimming and stuff, or
That would be a question for Les. Unfortunately, he's gone because he coordinates that program. But those kids have paid jobs. So they get in and they get to learn all kinds of different things while they're there, because that's the idea, is to expose them to jobs that they may not have ever thought about doing before. Maybe they'd love working in an office. Maybe they would love working in the pool area. So
working with kids.
Yeah.
What is the age?
It's high school. And what they have tried to do is, if there are kids who haven't done it, who are older, because there's a lot of applicants, they want to make sure that everybody gets the opportunity to do it. So anybody who wants to. So that's another reason why we need to expand. Because the more kids that get that experience, the better.
How are you recruiting the businesses for the peer-to-peer?
Our peer-to-peer team goes out and recruits with the businesses. And off the top of my head, I'm just signing the contracts. But YMCA is one, Sunrise. There's a radio station that they work at. There's also Saving Grace. Then Sutherland, Works, Public Works. Those are the ones I can think off the top of my head. I don't know if there's any that you remember.
I don't remember any that are different.
Yeah, but there's several, and they've built relationships with these groups, and then over the years they've continued to go to positions. But if you have some recommendations for next year, I'd love to know. I know our team.
Okay. Just checking to make sure you were with us.
I'm with you. I'm sorry I was a little late. I got hung up doing something else.
All right, hearing no further comments or questions, we'll go ahead and move on to the HR update. Pretty small number of openings for us.
It is at this time. I would like to, something that's not on this, you guys, had already approved the consent agenda with one nurse, but we have another nurse that you'll see on the next consent agenda. So we're excited about that. Those are one of our specialty positions along with SLPs that we're always trying to get. One thing that we're recognizing right now that's exciting, even though we're not getting our own SLPs as much as we want, we're hoping to recruit more. I know Harrison is working on some campaigns to help with that recruitment strategy, but we are seeing some contracted SLPs come to us earlier than usual. So we're starting to fill those slots. So we're not at a place where we're not having those SLPs with us until late into August. So that's pretty much it. We're really busy with all kinds of crazy things and negotiations, and superintendent searches are taking up some time and reference checking there. So we at Glendale hired their superintendent, so we're excited about that. Riddle just announced their superintendent at their meeting last night. Days Creek is in the throes of theirs, and so we're helping with that reference checking. And then we're doing negotiations, obviously here and then Glendale. So we have negotiations completed in the others, but that's and we're in the throes of the hiring season. So we're kind of busy in our department. And just thankful for my team. They're awesome.
And because I'm always humble, I'll say that one of our districts was raving about the support that they provided during the superintendent shifts. So we don't have a trophy. Words matter too.
Yeah. Always nice to meet you. Any questions? Okay.
No more questions? Okay. Venice, you up?
Good evening. I wanted to, I know last month I had talked about ADM and unfortunately my sheet, my cover page, I didn't get it attached to the numbers. So I kind of just made sure it was attached just so to kind of reemphasize where we are with ADM in regards to the decline in the county. Most schools are seeing a decrease. There are a few schools that have more students, but it fluctuates so much from year to year. But overall, we can see a pretty significant, you can see that in 23-24, our ADMR was 12,848, and we're estimated, now this is estimates, but the districts have already submitted like what they think their ADM is going to be for next year, down to 12,344. So just in that short 4 years, it's a pretty significant decrease, and it just every year goes down. When we talk about ADM, we talk about ADMR and then ADMW. ADMR is basically a body. A person is an ADM. The ADMW is the weighted. So if you have a student that has special needs, that has some extra things that they need throughout their education, those are some weighted things that districts do get extra money for. And so sometimes in the budget and different things you'll see or hear ADMR versus ADMW. So I listed that just because it can be confusing in regards to how that works and what that means. So basically just kind of emphasizing in black and white what we talked about last year in regards to the decline and what we're looking at. So
Is that decreased birth rates?
It's a number of factors.
Yeah, there's, so I sent a memo out earlier this month. There's 3 things. This is a national trend. So decreased birth rates. So Douglas County is about 5%. And that's been over the last 10 years. So
Okay.
it's like this year's 8-year-olds and down. And then it's also, still, post-pandemic, folks moved out of area or are doing, utilizing different options. And then it's the different options. We've been in discussion with superintendents, but the virtual, and non-public options. The virtual options, those numbers are quite interesting. And our districts are looking at ways to respond to that. So they're public schools being offered by another public school district in the state that our kids here can attend. So, and that option works well for kids. We just want to make sure kids get graduated and over the line. Yeah. Yes, Gail?
Yeah, I was wondering, at what point, I know ADM is intricately tied to our funding. At what point in time does the state say, okay, this is your ADM and this is the funding you're gonna get? Or am I understanding that correctly? Like does it happen in June? Does it happen July 1?
Well, they have already, they've already given us our estimate revenue for 26-27 based on, the numbers. And even though, the ADM is listed, the county ADM is listed on this sheet, they make it very clear that our funding is not based on ADM. I find that a little bit hard to believe, but because as the ADM drops, so does our funding. But there's a lot of things in with that, and the other piece of it is ESD state school fund is calculated totally differently than K-12 state school fund. State school fund for K-12 is really about the ADM. With ESDs, it's countywide and what all the local revenue and what, the money, the state property taxes, those kind of things. So, but yes, they've already kind of given us what our preliminary estimate for 26-27. And then as things happen, they update that 2 or 3 times a year.
But there is, every May, they can come back and say, oh, we over or underfunded you. So that's always a wonderful surprise for Venice every May. At that point, then it's final.
Yeah. So
that was, I'm sorry, that was what I was trying to figure out was, when does it count?
Yeah. So so next month, our state school fund will be adjusted, and unfortunately will be adjusted down by about $142,000. That's better than the 300,000. And it's really has to do with our property taxes. Because we were getting more property taxes than what we were estimating to the state. But, the adjustment that will happen next month is for 2023-24 fiscal year. Finally closing, and that's how far back we look, behind. So then they stop calculating and they stop thinking about 23-24 after this year. And then next year at this time, it will be closing out 24-25, which was last year for us. So that's how far behind those adjustments are. And so I've slowly been working at trying to minimize and get that adjustment down to actual. And so I've been slowly increasing, telling the state what our property tax is going to be. Couldn't do it all at once in a lump sum. I couldn't afford to do that. So I've been slowly bumping that up. And I am at a point, I have it at 5.7 now, which is right where we're at. When I first started, we were down like 5.2 and we were getting like 5.3, 5.4, 5.5. And that comes off, that's the adjustment that happens in May. So working at getting that decrease so we don't have that hit in May.
I got a non-question.
You're welcome, Gail. Thank you.
Nobody will like me. Indigenous, well, we've got so many districts here and two different tribal systems who, the ESD, works with for. I don't, in budgeting, do the Cow Creek, who is actually have a lot of money. What I want to ask is, are they paying into the ESD to help since we're working with them? And if so, are they paying their fair share?
You asking if they pay property tax? That I don't know.
Well, the ESD, Cow Creek Indians own literally millions of acres now, and they're paying next to nothing on property tax. So if it came to property tax, I can tell you right off the bat, no. But that casino is what started everything. That's what let them start buying land all over the county and all over the state. And what I wanted to know, what I was curious about is, are they also paying the portion of that, since we're helping them with their tribe children, are they paying a portion of grant or anything to the ESD to help with that? Or are we just not?
Our general fund is property tax and income tax. Is how we get our state school fund, and then we of course apply for grants through Cow Creek.
No. Okay.
I don't know how they play the tax system.
I've seen, I'm amazed at how low the property taxes are for the raw land that they've purchased all over the state. It was amazing.
But I think Douglas County is also affected, as is Wayne County and Jefferson County by the timberlands, which are also untaxed. That is also part of the property tax issue here.
Right.
Is where the bulk of the land in Douglas County that's not taxed is because of the exemptions due to timberland.
And if we ever open up the ONC, prices of houses will go down.
Right.
And we'll have money again in the county.
Right, I know, but I mean, I think the property tax issues are really complex. Because of all the different types of exemptions that are, is I guess what I guess.
You're correct. But I recently looked at a 1,000-acre piece of property, and I'm paying more on my land every year in property tax than they are on that 1,000-acre piece. And it's just, it's annoying. And then you take one of the biggest property owners other than the state of Oregon is the tribes now.
Mm-hmm.
And they may be someone worth getting a hold of and saying, hey, will you look at giving grants so that when we start losing money, we might have another revenue stream coming in. That's where I'm headed. Thank you.
Sure.
All right,
I remember the old days when the ESD was considered for people with money and they would come to us on it.
Yes.
I did have, I'm just kind of bothered about the ADM function, which is there actuarial, and if this was covered in the memo that I missed it, is there actual, how do I pronounce this, actuarial data for the birth to 5 rates? Has anybody done that work about the projected birth rates? Like what is coming, who's not yet in school?
Yeah, it's the 5. So when I looked at the data, because all of the birth rate data for the county, for the entire state is published.
Right,
And so I looked at Douglas County and over a 10-year period, it dropped 5%.
okay,
So that I looked at it, I think 2 years ago. So I haven't looked in the last 2 years.
Okay.
But that's what we were at.
so
The class sizes are getting smaller. Districts are aware of that. And the challenge is that the needs are not small. The kids are more complex, and so that would be our argument to the state.
okay. So beyond that, unless you have any questions, the financial, pretty much the same numbers, just a little larger here and there as we progress, and we are almost at the end of, we're in our last quarter of the fiscal year. And a lot happens in that last quarter, so any questions?
No.
I gotta ask that, I believe last month and certainly in recent months, you have said that we don't yet have our grants from the state. Are there still outstanding grants from the state, even though we're in the last quarter of the fiscal year?
Yes, as a matter of fact, yes, we have several. Last week I submitted, a claim for a grant that just came available to claim. So I had basically 3 quarters, quarter 1, 2, and 3. So I claimed from July 1, costs from July 1 to March 30th, just last week. It's difficult at best. And, you know, our hands are tied. It's frustrating. And, I can tell you, I strongly believe that's why our interest interest earned has gone down so much this year. Because it takes so long to get. And the other piece of it, and I, Tish, our grant specialist, but even just from the time that I started, but definitely in my former life, you got done with the quarter or the month, and you can just go into OBE system, say, I want to claim X amount of dollars, and release your money. Yeah, everything's done quarterly. And you have to file these reports to the different organizations and the different departments. And everything's got to match. And then I can claim the money. And I will tell you, it's a problem. So yes, Gail, we still have a few grants. If the list is getting smaller. But in a sense, we maybe have 1 or 2 grants that we can just claim a flat amount. Otherwise, we're totally reimbursed. And that includes our very large EIECSD program.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none.
I'm good, thanks.
I got it. Is that Tom?
Yeah, that's it.
That was John.
Speak up, Tom.
Yeah, I'm good. I just want to let you know I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, we're moving on to informational items. Are there any? Not at this time. Okay. Executive session. This is one of those great moments where I get to read out the ORS 192.660 space parentheses open, 2 parentheses closed, parentheses open, D parentheses closed. Okay. To discuss liberations, person designed to carry on labor negotiations. So
You have one more sentence to read.
we have what?
One more sentence to read.
And no more topics may be introduced or considered. We will strictly limit ourselves to the agenda item identified in this session. PSD. And we are at action items. May board meeting schedule. It looks like it's wide open, or do you just want to go third Thursday?
Yeah, so historically in the past, if the board has been attending the OASD convention, we always put it up to you all if you want to have a meeting or not. I do believe that we will have action items that I think it would be our preference to get those passed and sorry, I didn't have my phone, sorry, Harry. To get those passed in, May. So what I would suggest, if we have a meeting, it will simply be the agreement. We'll keep it to, any action items that we may have. We did this 3 years ago as well, unless you guys would like to have a full meeting.
Propose we meet the week after our following meeting would have been, so that us people going to the conference can just attend the meetings next week.
I think it is the week after, right? Yeah, it's already set. So if you can take no action, if that's, you guys want to keep the meeting.
I would like to keep the meeting.
Yeah, I would too.
So what date is that?
That would be the 22nd.
22nd, got it.
November.
Oh, sorry, May,
21st.
May 21st, you're right.
Thank you. We'll keep that prepped and, if anything changes, we'll let you know.
Right.
Good. We don't need to vote on that, do we?
No vote,
What?
no action.
No vote. But we do need to vote on the South Central Early Learning Hub bylaws.
Yeah.
You know, this has taken up a huge portion of our superintendent's time and brain cells dealing with these people because they didn't seem to make any sense sometimes. And I'm amazed at what they came up with. Did they just buy that?
No, I'll give you a little bit of the history and, I would say since January, we have been working really hard and cooperatively and collaboratively to come up with these. So, I'm very excited about, where we landed. So, just for, because this has been a program that's been with us for 10 years, I'm going to walk us back real quick and then walk us forward real quick. So the early learning hubs were, created, in 2013. It used to be called the Commission on Children and Families, and it lived in all of the counties. And then the governor at the time decided to move it into this regional governance model. And so to the states, most are held by most of the hub contracts are held by ESDs. Others remained at the county, others are nonprofit. So there are lots of different backbones, which makes square peg round hole even more of a thing. But the design of them was to bring together multi-sectors, and you can see all that definition in here, to discuss how we align the systems to better serve 0 to 5-year-olds. To do two things: to create stable and attached families, but also to catch the kids who are in between. So kids who are not eligible for services. They're like in that in-between space where mom and dad are living paycheck to paycheck. But we wanted to make sure we have systems of support for all children, no matter what their parents' income level may be. So the bylaws, one thing that was our top goal was clarity of roles. So let me take one more step. Over the years, originally they were designed to be an independent body that made fiscal decisions. Over the years, that independence is still around fiscal decisions, but the latest iteration of OARs is like, nope, they stand alone and you're just the backbone. So as a backbone, we sign the contract. We manage the funding, procurement process, the staff who do this work are our employees. So we do all the things with HR. We also, if there's ever any legal things, like all of that's our responsibility as a backbone. And then there's this governance council that's similar to like a board, but they're making independent decisions about how they want to use the funds in the community and initiatives in the community. So, which gets a little funky because the backbone has a board. So the bylaws really clarify those roles. What is our role? What is their role? And what is the staff role? And yes, Harry, it comes straight out of the OARs. So that's why, and we had someone work with us to put this into place. So a lot of the language comes straight from the legal statute. We have ovulations too. One of the biggest changes is the number of members. Currently, we have 3 active members. I think you guys approved 4 roles. I meant to do this in my history overview. Part of the decision-making for who would be the backbone was a community decision. We were selected by Douglas County to lead this organization, or to be the backbone for this program. In our application, Lake joined us, and then through the procurement process, Klamath, Lake, and Douglas County joined together. And so we've had a different structure than most hubs. And so this 15-member structure makes us more closer to what other hubs look like. Historically, it's been Lake County who can be on the, based on their individual governance, who wanted to be on the regional, and now it's role defined, which is, I think, great. So if you happen to be not just, you're not going to find it quickly. So one in Douglas County is the CEO or a manager of neighborhood works. So it's now role dependent and agency dependent, and they represent 5 sectors. And they are equal among all the counties. So every county has 5 positions.
Wow.
And I'm not going to be able to find the page for that. My apologies. There's too much black text. The other thing is clarity around spaces that we share. So fiscal. Venice and her team have the fiscal reports. We have to get them to the governance council. How do we do that? And that's a spot where we're also in progress of designing an operational agreement so that it's very clear what the process is. That way, as those 15 people change, if we all win the lottery, it's very clear how those processes work. That's one of the key things that we've all agreed would be really helpful. Clarity around roles, especially around hiring a director, evaluation of a director. We feel that that's a collaborative experience because they see portions of their work, we see portions of their work in doing that collectively. So again, and the rest is mostly just the OARs. The 2 big changes I wanted to call out to the board is in the current set of bylaws, you play 2 roles. One, you approve the membership, and that was approving like individual names because we have 15 roles specific to your employment. We no longer need to do that. That's been agreed upon. It'll be 15 folks from those spaces. If anyone could find them, this is the final version, and it's not where it was, and the one that I dove deep into.
It's 9
There it is. Thank you. It was fully on page 10. So health is the healthcare representative is the Klamath County CCO. So it's very determined who would be on this council. And then the other one, our current set of bylaws is that you all approve the bylaws. When we talk to the state department, that bylaw would not work because they have their independence to design their organization how they want to. But the other thing that was added is very clear mediation or a process for how we bring concerns to each other. And that is on. It is on page 19. And so that process to me clears up how we will communicate with each other, our needs and our concerns. It's always easy to say the good things. So having a process to share those things. And so there's a process there. Just say if they put something in the bylaws, we would have a process to discuss that. And again, these bylaws were written in collaboration. And so we would have a voice while they're being designed as well. Being how things they put in here affect our function. So I would recommend to the board to approve the bylaws. There's lots of other things about how they meet, public meeting laws, just things that make it very clear what their role is, what our role is, and how we function together. For that question, Richard?
Sounds like section 22 covers us for any. What's the bottom dollar? How much do they spend?
Is this a annual near 2 million annually, or is that biennial?
I think it's annual.
I think it's annual. Sorry, Julie couldn't be here tonight. She's doing other things for early for me. So I know it might be, no, I just saw this. I think it's $1 million annually. So there's 7 or 8 funding sources that this governance gets to make decisions on in budgeting. And so they go through this, Julie is leading them through a process on how they want to spend the funds. There's understanding that we have a CBA and admin agreements and those sorts of things. So some numbers are what they are, if that's the FTE we have. So
They audited along with us.
we are audited because we have that fiscal responsibility, and then we share the audit with them, which we have done.
I have just a kind of a silly question, like, well, what happened if for some reason, North Community College no longer had a small business development center?
We would amend the bylaws to
Okay.
change the role.
Okay.
Yeah. I think these are organizations that should they've been historically around for a very long time. Yeah.
Any questions from our at-home directors?
I'm curious about, every county has its own 5 members. That gives Lake County quite a advantage at some level. Was there discussion about that?
So that is an historical thing. So currently they have 1 representative from each of the 3 counties.
I see.
The history on that, I was like 1 circle out. But that was a way that they felt gave equity to all of the counties in 1 county, 1 vote. When it comes to fiscal things, they typically set a floor for Lake County. When they're looking at how to divvy out funding, that way
Yeah.
Lake County has enough to do something. Sometimes they equally spread it out. It just kind of depends on what the funding's for. But that's all their decision.
Okay.
There
you.
was a tribal representative on the hub board. There again, should we see, should it be proposed or look at possibly proposing to the tribe, looking at a grant system for ESD?
So the funding comes from the state of Oregon, and they determine, by allocation, how funding goes out. And it's actually a requirement of our contract, that we work with our local tribes. So there's 2 in our region.
Right.
That we work with those tribes. And beyond that, we again seek grants if they have a granting foundation. But beyond that, that's not been a discussion.
Like the Ford Foundation does.
Yeah, so the Calgary Foundation, and I'm not as familiar with Klamath.
I was just asking him.
Yeah,
Ask them to do one like the Ford Foundation does.
they do
Well,
have
they-
a grant system
Oh, well,
that we access.
I asked that earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's government to government, so it's a little different than like asking the YMCA.
So do I hear a motion to accept the bylaws as presented?
I move to accept the bylaws as presented and.
Wonderful. Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any thoughts, concerns, questions? Hearing none at this time, I'll ask for a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Pass unanimously. Okay, does this mean you're gonna get fewer phone calls?
Yes, and we've, the director has been hired and she is set to start May 6th. She's coming to us locally, but has a phenomenal, view and expertise on systems and how they work within communities. So we're very excited for her, to join our team. So,
Can you say who it is?
I can say the first name if Holly can say the last name.
I was gonna say, I can say the first name. I can't remember the.
We'll get you her full name.
Okay.
Sorry, she's like Cher, just memorized her first name.
Uh-huh.
We can always thank George for getting for the good of the order put into the agenda. This is a chance for any of those present at the meeting to let us know something about their life that pertains to the board. Or if anybody's going to Italy this summer, they could bring that up. No one?
I'm celebrating at my house. I'm, for the most part, up and walking around without a cane or any kind of mobility device, and
Good job.
getting there, it took a long time.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to attend a meeting in person sometime soon.
Yeah.
Stop.
My situation is I'm still in bed. Can't put a lot of pressure on my feet. I'm able to stand, but I can't walk. So yeah, a few more weeks probably for me.
Great. Hearing no further announcements, I'll call for a vote to adjourn. Do we need someone to say aye?
I need to adjourn, how's that?
I second it.
We have a move and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
8:00.
Sweet, the sun is almost down.
See you guys later.
I just want to clarify, you mean
Thanks,
as
Veronica.